to give a bit of an introduction before we get started, oh, hey, Lauren. I'm Nat from Exceptional Individuals. I'm the head of community. And if you guys aren't familiar with us, we're a neurodivergent employment partnership. So basically, if you resonate with dyslexia, dyspraxia, autism, ADHD, or any of the others, we work with individuals to get them into like jobs, but like good jobs, ones that, you know, don't just accept us for thinking a little different, but really utilizes it. And we also work with companies and organizations to help them become more inclusive. But every now and then we do a fun quiz. It's only 25 questions, but I thought it'd be a nice little break in the day, which will test your knowledge. But some of it is hopefully quite fun, like edutainment. And on the little reactions, you can do like, ooh, clap, if you're having a good time. Okay, so sharing screen, let's get this party underway. All right, question 1 of 25. What Muppet is an autistic character introduced in Sesame Street? Could it be Ernie? Could it be Elmo? Could it be Julia? Or could it be Big Bird? Okay, so Julia is a Muppet that was introduced in 2017, but she also came about in a digital format in 2015. I personally thought she was a really great introduction to what autism was, because they said, oh, this is what it's like for Julia, rather than this is what it's like for autistic people all over. However, she is a little bit controversial in places, because some people don't like the way that she's presented herself, but each to their own. It's also great to have more representation anyway. So let's see how you guys are doing on that. And let's see. Okay, cool. Well done, Ben. Fastest. April, not surprising. Thought you'd be good on that one. All right, what member of the IT or IT crowd from 2016 to 2013 is often seen as a member of the Asperger's community?
I'm still not getting the images.
Is that the same for anyone else? Okay, well, the first one is Roy. The second one is Jen, the blue one. The yellow one is Douglas. Another one is Roy. Okay, others can see the images. Rob, I'm afraid you might want to log out and log back in again. For this, if you guys are familiar, oh, most of you got it right. Moss isn't actually officially autistic, but a lot of the community resonates with him. A lot of his traits and characteristics are that of people who are on the spectrum. Personally, I think he's the coolest character as well, so not a bad thing to be associated with. Nice. All right, I see we've got one to beat already. All right, 3 of 25. Who is the author of The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime? Is it David Williams, Mark Haddon, Judith Keir, or Lewis Carroll? So it's a book and also a play. Ooh, very mixed. So yeah, Mark Haddon is the author of The Curious Instance of the Dog in the Nighttime. And a lot of people think the main character is Asperger's or autistic, but it's actually not kind of specified in the book at all. I think the character is called John, and he has called himself a mathematician with some behavioral difficulties, but it's not actually specified. However, he has a lot of the traits. Nice, Amy came in up a little bit. All right, Abed from... Abed is from what American sitcom? Is it from Community, The Big Bang Theory, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, or The Good Place? So I picked Abed because, again, he has a lot of the characteristics of someone who has autism or is autistic. Nice. So, oh, I see quite a mixed answers again. So not everyone has watched Community. Community is an amazing show. I highly recommend it. Again, yes, Abed is a little bit different, but by far he is the most interesting character, and he sees the world in like films and TV, so everything is like a micro reference. Really interesting. Cool. The Cookie Monster has come up on the scoreboard. If anyone can take Ben down, he is an unstoppable monster at the moment.
I'm not doing very well at this quiz at the moment.
Don't worry, Rob, we can catch up. Which Belcher child from Bob's Burger is often described as not autistic by their parents? Is it Teddy, who not actually a child? Is it, oh, I mean, I've got to try to remember all their names. Well, we got Tina, we've got, wow, God, well, I'm glad you guys got it. My mind went completely blank. Yes, so Tina is one of the children in Bob's, and she's often seen as a bit quirky, a bit out there. And again, everyone will say, oh, well, she's autistic. And her parents will be like, she's not, she's not. But it's a great thing. And what I love about Tina as a representation of someone from our community is she's a very sexualized character in terms of she's a female who's a teenager who has wants, desires like boys, and often that's part of our community which people don't really resonate with. So good on Tina. I mean, we've got some.
You're not giving me any questions I know at all.
We'll get there. Okay. So just so you're aware, we're going to have lots of different rounds mixed in this. So if you're struggling with the TV rounds, there will be others. Ooh, Jamali, well done. Very consistent today. Okay, which famous NBA basketball player is dyslexic? So out of these icons, which one has said they are dyslexic? So do you know any of these? A lot of people from the Lakers. A bit of a harder quiz for some because it's images rather than yeah. Oh yes, so well done, most. Oh no, most of you thought it was Michael Jordan. I'm going to have a guess out here that it's more likely because he was the only one you recognised. Same here. I don't know if any of you have been watching Netflix's The Last Dance. It's really good magic, even if you don't like basketball. So the guy who was it is Magic Johnson. And yeah, he's a really famous, he was one to beat before Michael Jordan, I think just got over there. Yeah, so a lot of people said they know him from Space Jam. Oh no, Space Jam is also on Netflix. It is. I highly recommend it. If you like Bugs Bunny and sports, you literally can't get a better movie. Okay, Jamali was really fast on the trigger there. Amy B, very strong. April, very consistently on third. Okay, which former world heavyweight is/was dyslexic? It's very similar to the last one, but for heavyweight boxing. I'm sure a lot of you like me. Like, I recognise the faces, but would I know their names? Okay, nice. And oh, actually, I thought you thought it was Tyson. No, Muhammad Ali was a very proud dyslexic, and he would often kind of quote it and talk about it.
It didn't come up for me. I got it right, but it didn't come up. I didn't get a score.
Oh, come on, Rob. This is your chance, man.
No, it didn't come. It didn't score me though. It didn't score me. It didn't score me on the website.
You're on the website. Okay, hopefully it'll work. It might be an internet thing. Oh, April, nice. There we are, she's smashing it. So just so you guys know, April is actually a volunteer at Exceptional Individuals. So no bias, and I promise you, we haven't given her the answers. She's just incredibly well-versed in neurodiversity. 8 of 25. Which well-known football player has stated that they have OCD, so obsessive compulsive disorder? And with a lot of these, I'm not even going to attempt to tell you the people's names. One, because I probably don't know them, but two, my pronunciation is dreadful to say the least. Nice. So it is the most recognizable footballer in the world, David Beckham. He has often been told by, well, himself, and Victoria has stated that he has to get things exactly right, lined up. He's like very clean. And I'm not sure if he's been diagnosed with OCD, but he personally believes he has it, which I think is good, because OCD is one of those conditions which isn't well spoken about. It's like everyone says, oh, you've got OCD, but very few people actually have it, even though they do. So I've been diagnosed with it recently, and it's really interesting. So Sarah, names people have help. So yeah, Sarah, the reason I didn't put people's names is I thought trying it a bit different to make it a bit more dyslexic friendly. So if this doesn't work, I'll go back to the conventional way next time. My brother, yep. Oh, all right. So, ooh, Q has is starting to come up. Very good to see. I'm probably butchering all your names. Okay, blank is the ability to read above one's age or grade level in school. This is also commonly accompanied companies autism. So, is it superlexia, hyperlexia, megalexia, or prolexia? Which funlexia is a condition known for one to read above their grade level in school? It's mostly in childhood. Hyperlexia, yes. So nice controversial subject, oftenly debated. Some people see it as its own thing, others see it as part of the autism spectrum. Oh, sorry, Tony. I literally don't know what to do on that. Well, I'll give you bonus points at the end anyway. So yeah, hyperlexia, it's not very well understood, and there's not much research on it, but say if your child, it's kind of like dyslexia, but your brain is able to normally read, speak a lot faster. It's probably diagnosed in like youth, because adults, it's very hard because the brain naturally balances out. I don't know if a lot of you noticed, but when you're younger, it's far more obvious that you'll have like a neurodivergence. But as you get older, it appears to disappear, but it doesn't. It's just your brain learns to kind of like function on a neurotypical kind of wavelength. Yeah, and guys, just remember, if it does glitch out, just give it another go. The code's at the bottom. It's not a flaw thing, but just a bit of fun anyway. Masking, yeah. Very good point, Jeff. Oh, nice. April's turn. Ben, what's been happening? You were winning. Okay, 10 or 25. Autism spectrum disorder is a developmental difference which generally appears before the age of 3 years, 3 months, 3 weeks, or 3 months. I've done 3 months twice, so good luck if it's that one. Three years. Well done, guys. I'm so glad it wasn't 3 months, otherwise half of you would have lost. Yeah, 3 years. And it's interesting because you normally think, how can people notice at such a young age? I think I was actually diagnosed around 3. And it's just because I had, for a child, very interesting characteristics. I was always kind of like stumbling about, not really talking. I wasn't much of a hugger. I seemed kind of like, I was more interested in hanging out with myself than I was hanging out with other children. And it does kind of, as you get older, kind of change and develop. But autism is a lifelong condition. We just learn to adapt and mask. Oh, interesting. Well, like I said, it is a birth condition. So in a way, you should be able to tell quite early on, but I think it takes a while for your personality to come through. In my humble opinion, babies all look and act the same. So after 3 years, they really start to grow their personality. All right, 11 or 25. The dyslexic brain is larger than the average brain. Is this true or false? So do us dyslexics have a big ass brain, or is it just perfectly average? Boop, 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 boop. Woo, yeah. So most of you said false. Now, officially on research papers, they have found a correlation with more people with dyslexia having slightly larger than average brains. Now, I can always quote the papers. Is it true? Well, I can only go by with what I read from studies and reports, but a bigger brain doesn't necessarily mean added intelligence or less intelligence. It's just one pattern they've been able to observe over countless research. So yeah, interesting. The more you know. But if anything I've said today, guys, you want to dispute or you want evidence, just let me know afterwards, and I'm more than happy to send you the research I found. 12 or 25. What breed of dog has repetitive behavior or atypical social habits? Now, I'm not going to even attempt to tell you these breeds. I think we've got red is a Chihuahua. I think blue is a Labrador. Orange is a German Shepherd. And the green is some sort of terrier. Oh, cool. Well, it is the terrier one. And you might think, nah, why did you do dog questions? Well, one, dogs are cute. But more than that, I was curious to know, is things like autism only seen in humans? And when we say autism, I mean a different way of thinking to what is considered the norm. And they found that most dogs kind of think and act in a very bull terrier. Yes, April, it's a bull terrier. Think in a very conventional way. But bull terriers kind of like define the mold, and they've shown to work in different ways. So there's no relation between, as an autistic person and being a dog. It's just interesting to know that it's not unique to just human beings. Animals in different kind of subsets can also think differently. I think, yes, no, I'm glad you guys know your dog breeds. All right, 13 or 25. What musical artist is not known to be neurodivergent? So the first one that is red is Harry Styles. Blue is Noel Gallagher. Yellow is, so what's the yellow one? Billie Eilish. And green is Florence from The Machine. Whew. Sorry, I literally just got it out before the question ended. I'm glad you guys are faster than I am talking. So yeah, Harry Styles is the only one not thought to be neurodivergent. Neil Gallagher is, but interestingly, I don't think his brother is registered or diagnosed. Billie Eilish is, and also Florence. So Florence has dyspraxia, and I believe the others have dyslexia. And interestingly, we're working with Universal at the moment, and the last two, Billie Eilish and Florence, are both on the record label. Oh, okay. Tim has a really interesting point about the brain. He obviously did some research afterwards just to make sure I wasn't making it up. He says, those who live with neurodivergence typically have denser gyri and sulci bumps and grooves, which may explain a slightly enlarged brain. Interesting. And you're totally right, Ben. Next time, I love the pictures, but we're going with text again. Cool. Okay, 14 of 25. Whew, keep this going. Black Sabbath's Ozzy Osbourne has the following: dyspraxia, dyslexia, ADHD, or autism. Nice. So there are actually two right answers to this: dyslexia and ADHD. Ozzy is mental, but in a great, I mean this in a positive way. He is a real character. And his manager is actually his wife, Sharon Osbourne, and she does like all the behind the scenes, the accountings, the money, the forms, and he is the more creative. So that's another great example of how neurodiversity isn't about one thought being better or worse. It's about having a diversity of thought and working together to create an amazing outcome. I don't know if Sharon can sing or not, but I don't think I want to listen to her anyway. So it's good that they two know their strengths. So, well, Ozzy, from the report I read, he also has signs of ADHD. A lot of the time, people aren't always diagnosed, but if you look at the traits, they do. And that's why I think it's very important to say like traits of or resonates with rather than actually has. But he has stated that he believes to. But yeah, really good point. 15 or 25. All right, guys, we're getting there. Who wrote the lyrics from this chorus? Is this love or is it dyslexia, dyslexia, dyslexia? So we have Bohemian Rhapsody star Freddie Mercury, Alice Cooper, Jimi Hendrix, or ABBA. Oh man, this is testing my own brain now on people on faces. So yeah, which one of those? Well done, most of you. It is Alice Cooper. It wasn't a mega hit, but I still like that Dyslexia got some lyrics. Would I say it's worth a listen to? It's an okay song. Nothing's going to beat Poison though. That song always gets me ready for when I was going on for a night out. Oh, Ben's back at the top. Poor April. Come on. Do it for EI. Okay, true or false? Austrian pediatrician Hans Asperger was proven in 2018 to be a Nazi. A little bit of a controversial one, but here we are. True or false? Was the father of Asperger's a Nazi? Oh, very tight. So it's actually false. And I actually did a lot of research on this. So Hans Asperger's is one, well, the founder of Asperger's, because he had his own like school, right? And he had people which he called his like little geniuses or little scientists. And he had people who no one really had a name or a label for. And he did really great things. He got to know their personality. He was actually very strength-based. And just lately, there's been a bit of a trend of disassociating Asperger's from him. But yes, he was. Little professors, actually, thanks, Jeff.
I've got a problem.
It did actually result in a lot of people dying because of like Hitler and all that horrible mess. But from what it appears to be from the research that he had to, essentially. He didn't have much choice. He was very against it, but he still did it. So a Nazi sympathizer, maybe, maybe not. A Nazi, someone who went along with it, yes. But was he an actually Nazi? No. He didn't sign up for it. He was part of the system, but he wasn't a direct pro person. Yeah, a bit of a dark turn there, but it's worth knowing because I think as though he did do some bad things as a result of the Nazi regime, he actually did contribute quite substantially to the movement and our understanding to today.
I got a bit of a problem. I answered the
Yes,
I answered it right, but I didn't.
knows her
I answered it right, but it's time
no,
out.
no, World War II.
I answered
Okay,
it. But
17 or 25. The term autism stems from the Greek word which literally means, so what does autism literally mean in Greek? Sensory, disorder, non-verbal, or alone? And I put a picture of Hercules because he was the first thing I thought of when I thought of Greek. Oh, again, very mixed. So it is alone. Forever alone. Sad. Yeah, and I can kind of get that because even in days, one of the biggest traits of autism is that they enjoy their own company, which I thought is quite nice. And I like the way that it wasn't disorder. Because personally, you know, with like ASD, I don't really like that name. I don't see it as a disorder. Okay, Robert, if you click on a symbol, but it still hasn't shown up on your phone, it hasn't registered, so click it again. Thanks for the advice, Sarah. I appreciate it. Okay, oh, Liz, nice. Haven't seen you in a while. Popping up, 5 in a row. Definitely your round. Okay, 18 or 25. Dyslexia was first described by a physician, Dr. W. Pringle Morgan in Sussex in what year? It's the first recorded description of dyslexia. And as you can see, I put a picture of Pringles because I thought it was funny. So 17th century, 18th century, later 18th, or in the 90s? Yes, guys. I'm guessing quite a few of you have read Neurotribes because I read that book recently and that's where I got a lot of the information from. If you haven't guessed already, I'm dyslexic. You're going to get it. So if you guys did pick the other one, give yourself an extra points at the end. Hopefully when it comes to the final answer, it's not like very narrow. Otherwise, I'm going to feel bad for the rest of the day. Yeah, I can't hear you, Robert. So you're going to have to just do in the chat. I've got it up at the moment so I can see. 19 of 25. The father of the theory of relativity, Albert Einstein, was diagnosed as being neurodiverse. Isn't that a lovely face of his? Very smiley. Is that true or false? So essentially, is Albert Einstein neurodiverse? It is false. Now, let me explain that before you're all like, you're wrong. Albert Einstein is arguably one of the most famous neurodiverse people out there. When you think of all famous dyslexics, famous autistics, famous people with dyscalculia, Einstein always comes to mind. And this is because he had all the traits. At a very young age, he was very stunted in his development. It took him a lot longer to read, a lot longer to write. And when he kind of was progressed into his adulthood, he was very focused and he was able to, he put socializing to the side and he was able to focus on his work. And this is why a lot of people want to claim him like, oh no, he was dyscalculic because he struggled with maths, but he solved the problems, or he was dyslexic by looking at his writing. But at the time when he was around, no one diagnosed people with it. So officially, no, he was not. But what did he resonate, did he have a lot of the traits and characteristics? Absolutely. So personally, I don't think that just diminishes our link with him. I still think we can claim him, but it's important to know that it's a bit of a dodgy ground, backdating and going back in the past. I think Julius Caesar was autistic. We can never say that. We can take an educated guess, but we can't say those things. Oh, Jeffy boy. We liking that rise to fame. Simon, wow, 5 in a row. Good to see. I'm surprised I haven't seen Tony getting a bit higher lately. I think he normally cheats anyway. Which company has the richest thought to be dyslexic founder? So is it the founder of Ford's, which is Henry Ford, the founder of Apple, which is Steve Jobs, the founder of Microsoft, Bill Gates, or the founder of Heinz, which is someone help me out. Who's the famous investor? Yeah, anyway, hopefully you guys will write it soon. Warren Buffett, sorry, Warren Buffett, I believe he owns Heinz. Yes, thanks, Liz. So yeah, Henry Forbes is, I think he's one of the richest guys in modern history. He had a crazy amount. A great example. Now, Steve Jobs was, I think he was diagnosed with dyslexic. No, you're right, Jeff. He did. My mistake. He didn't found it, but he did buy it. So thankfully, it wasn't the right answer. Bill Gates. I think he says he resonates with having autism, but again, isn't officially diagnosed. All right, we're almost there, guys. Author and animal behavior expert Temple Grandin lives in what US state? So which of these states? I think it's Massachusetts, the first one. We've got, well, I actually went to one of these states recently, so if you know me, it's a little bit of a tip. Oh, very broad. So it was actually Colorado. No, if any of you guys can name all the states, I'll give you bonus points. Yeah, so she lives in Colorado and she is fantastic. So she had all the traits of like autism growing up, but her unique way of seeing allowed her to completely transform the way that we look and manage animals. And she's wrote some great books, Seeing in Pictures. She's definitely one of the most successful modern day people with who is autistic, because her autism is 100% a strength and not a disability, though there are things that she still finds quite difficult. So she's a great inspiration, and I really recommend looking her up if you don't know much about Temple Grandin. Okay, 22 of 25. Atypical is a coming-of-age television series on what online streaming platform? Is it HBO Max, Disney Plus, Netflix, or Amazon Video? Yay, it is Netflix. And I don't know if you guys have seen Atypical. It'd be interesting to know your thoughts. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Is it accurate? Is it not accurate? My view is I love seeing representation on TV. I think just getting the awareness out there is great, but it wasn't, for me, it made autism seem too extreme. Like, I thought it was a bit over dramatized, which you can imagine. Though it is worth a watch if you want to give someone an introduction. I've only seen the first season, but it is good to see slowly but surely we're getting more of an audience. Nice. Sarah has the highest answer streak at the moment. April's back on top. It's interesting. Whenever we got TV answers or pop culture, April's smashing it. And when it's like I think Jeff's always on the sciencey ones. Okay, 23 or 25. Which Beatle is/was neurodivergent? Was it the founder of the band, John Lennon? Was it everyone's favorite drummer, Ringo Starr? Was it the ballad master, Paul McCartney, or was it the so-called quiet Beatle, George Harrison? Which Beatle was neurodivergent? John Lennon. Nice. Yes, John Lennon has dyslexia, and he is personally an idol of mine. What I really love about the Beatles is, once again, the perfect example of how different ways of thinking, when united together, create the perfect outcome. From Paul McCartney's way of thinking, which is neurotypical, to John Lennon's neurodivergent way of thinking, smushed together, we got the greatest music of all time. And that is a fact. Nice. All right, 24 or 25. Due to their handwriting and spelling, which author is thought to have dysgraphia? Was it J.K. Rowling, Agatha Christie, Edgar Allan Poe, or Oscar Wilde? Which famous author, past or present, was thought to have dysgraphia? Oh, interesting. A lot of you thought Oscar Wilde. Well, Agatha Christie is often seen as an individual who had dysgraphia. And just so you guys know, dysgraphia is very similar to dyslexia, but it can change the way your handwriting, for instance, could be really poor. It could be the way you kind of like grip a pen. It's how like the brain processes word. Like I believe I have it. Like, I don't know if you can see, like, my handwriting, it's really messy. Yeah, I'm quite a good drawer. It just doesn't seem to add up how my brain can function in one capacity, but as soon as you change the thought process, when the brain uses a different part, it looks like a 4-year-old wrote it. Fascinating. I still think there should be a lot more research done in that area. Oh, all right, guys, we are doing pretty good. So this, I believe, might be the final question. So fingers on the ready. Can anyone take April off of the top spot? Won't be easy. 25 or 25. What the popular fan theory in Winnie the Pooh has said that Tigger has anxiety, dyslexia, ADHD, or OCD. So apparently each character is a representative of a different kind of medical condition. Yes, TTFN. Yeah, so the theory goes is that and it what's it anxiety. Piglet has anxiety, Owl has dyslexia, ADHD is Tigger, OCD is Rabbit. I think Pooh Bear, what is he? Forgetfulness. Eeyore is depression. Now, apparently, there's no facts in this whatsoever. Is H.S. Mills didn't intend it to be this way, as far as I'm aware. But it's an interesting theory, and actually, it does match up with all their personalities and characteristics. I think I love Tigger. He's a great character. All right. Well, now, guys, is the moment of truth. Who is the most divergent of all of us? Who is our insert quizzy pun here? All right, the big fat neurodivergent quiz. Rachel T, 3rd place. Jeffy Boy, 2nd. And yes, Storm Girl, 87, which is April. And we've got some runners up, Normali and Ben. Fantastic, really bloody great. Wow. Okay, so let me share the screen there and quickly get off and unmute you lovely people. Now, I hope that you all really enjoyed the quiz. Just a bit of fun. Oh, who is believed to in eating disorder? Well, Christopher Robin is schizophrenia. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I think during this challenging time, it can be even harder for people who are neurodivergent. And there's no harm about learning more about how your brain works or the culture surrounding in it. I think quite often we talk about the science and how we can help someone, but not often do we go back into the pop culture and how these characters and musicians and authors have shaped the worldview in which people view us in. So that's enough from me. I've learned a lot from today. I would love feedback so we can keep making more fun things, which only take an hour of your time. We've got ones on dyslexia, dysgraphia, autism, ADHD coming up. But I'd love to see you guys in the next one. And yeah, have a lovely day and stay different.